Capital. Hey Matt, real quick, because I see a couple of earners had this question about forbearance. Is there any effect on your credit score? Because some people are asking, if does it affect? Is there any legislation that says that, and how will it go about getting my next property if it does?
Yeah, no, if you're in a COVID-19 relief forbearance, then no, it should have no bearings on your credit. So a lot of people went into some sort of forbearance prior to COVID-19 before all these laws came out, and those people unfortunately got affected. But if you took out a specific COVID-19 relief, then it should have no bearings on your credit scores. Now, once you come out of forbearance, you have to make 3 consecutive payments on your mortgage, and then you'll be eligible to refinance or even purchase a new property with no with no damage to you. So the forbearance, in all honesty, really didn't hurt people. You know, in the beginning, it was a lot of uncertainty about what was going to happen. Even me, I put out a video saying you should kind of wait before you do a forbearance. If you really don't need it, don't do it, because who knows? The banks are always out there to get you. But you know, I gotta give it to the government and give it to the banks, man. They really stepped up and really tried to help as many people as they could, especially if you were a homeowner. They kind of bailed out people who really needed to bail out. So if you're in a forbearance, come out of it, make 3 consecutive payments, and if you stacked your money, now you have the opportunity to go invest. If you have equity in your property, you can do a cash out refinance without a problem, and get some equity, pull some of that equity out, and go buy real estate. So the forbearance didn't really hurt people. It actually helped a lot of people, you know, get back on their feet. I can't tell you how many people paid off all their bills during the forbearance, and now they're debt free except for their mortgages because they were able to take 6 7 months off of paying their mortgage. So it actually helped out a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, best in the business.
They didn't do it because they were nice people. If they wouldn't have, it would have bankrupted our country.
No, no. Let me be clear. They did it because they had no choice. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Like this is what I tell people all the time. And this crisis is different from the subprime
Absolutely.
crash. You know, subprime crash was because of greed, ultimately.
Yes.
This pandemic was
Absolutely.
health related. It was nobody's fault. Well, if you ask Trump, he'll probably tell you something different. This was nobody's fault. So how can you blame the everyday homeowner who job just got shut down and people were dying and getting sick and in the hospital? It was a scary time in America for a couple months, right? So you know, kudos out to the government for doing what they had to do and stepping up. No matter who you're a fan of, Democrats, Republicans, it don't matter. We're all human at the end of the day. And I thought it was a good thing that happened, that they stepped in and did what they did.
Nice, nice. Carrie Ann, we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on?
Hi, Miss Kiana, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
In the chat, I said you had that wealthy black woman accent. It's like I'm just gonna let her talk and just wash the poverty away from me because her voice was like amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. How are you doing today?
My question to you guys was, you just talking about forbearance, and when they mentioned that in the chat, I was thinking about like how we have the student loan issue coming up. So if you take that into account, right, how do you think that will affect the market as far as the people that were able to not pay student loans, right? They got that break. They also weren't able to pay their mortgages. I think at some point that's got to come to a head. So for me, not being a homeowner right now, I keep hearing 2023. So I'm like, all right, so I should just keep stacking my money, keep buying my stocks until 2023, and then have that lump sum ready to jump into the market. Is that a good strategy?
It's the finesse for me. I'm gonna let MG take that one, but you know, one thing about student loans is they keep changing these laws and how they want to count these student loans against you when it comes time for home ownership. And I can see them making another change because of the amount of people with forbearance to still open the doors to home ownership. But I'm gonna let MG take that one.
Yeah, I think student loans are interesting topic.
Yes.
You know, it's definitely hindering a lot of people from qualifying, especially if you're trying to go FHA and you're in deferment. But there are options, man. You can go conventional. You know, people think, you know, FHA is the only way to go. when you have student loans, and it's not the case. Just go conventional. And if you're in an income-based repayment plan, and if that documentation states that your payment is $1, the bank will use that as your payment for a conventional mortgage. So student loans don't hurt nobody, only if you're trying to go FHA. Now, I do believe the government at some point will be forced to do some sort of forgiveness, because what I personally think is going to happen, people just going to say, F these student loans, we ain't paying them. We don't care what you say. And they're going to have to come out with some sort of forgiveness, some cancellations, something, because the student loan market is probably going to be the next thing to crash. I think student loans are on the clock. Sally Mae, you on the clock, baby.
It would
Like,
be the greatest crash in the history if
It
they
would
let
be
it happen.
on the clock, you know.
ever. Navient too. Let's not forget Navient.
Yeah,
Let's put
Navient's on the clock. The federal student loans, they pushed it back to September. So I actually have student loans, and so they obviously in forbearance to the end of September. So I'm just waiting myself. Like, obviously, no interest is a great incentive if you decide to pay it. But like they said, what the administration said, there's going to be some forgiveness, whether it's 10,000 or up to 50,000. I'm waiting to see.
And also, it's one of these things that all investments work the same way, where they all come down.
Facts.
They all come down. But the problem with trying to time the market, whether it's the stock market or real estate, is that you could be waiting for a long time. So like when I came into the business of a financial advisor in 2007, I came in during the recession. And at least in New York, that's the last time real estate prices was really dropped drastically. So they will drop again. But let's say you were waiting for a drop after 2007.
Oh, baby. Yeah,
you
you
would
were stuck.
have been waiting 14 years to buy real estate in New York, because it hasn't really had a significant, we've had drops, but not a significant drop like it was back then. So yeah, it might come next year, or it might come in 5 years. So you might wait 20 years for that to happen. Same thing with the stock market. Like, if 2007 was a perfect opportunity to buy stock, and then last year was another perfect opportunity. But in between that, the stock market went up. We have pullbacks here and there, but we didn't have a major crash. We didn't have a bear market from 2017 to 2020. That's 13 years. So if you were waiting for a bear market to invest money in the stock market, you would have been on the sideline for 13 years. So I say that to say, yeah, nobody wants to buy at a high, but sometimes in life, you just have to realize that depending on what your goals are and what you're looking to do, you could be potentially waiting for the perfect time, and the perfect time's not coming anytime soon.
Oh, that's so true. The
Yeah.
cost of waiting is going to get really expensive for a lot of you all. I really think so. I think the cost of waiting is going to get so expensive, because when you look at the timeline of what the corrections and the predictions of the market are going to come, I mean, I'm not sure about you all, but sometimes it's not that deep. Sometimes it's not about, I think we all get caught up in, I want to be an investor. Sometimes it's just buying that first house, living in that first house, bettering your situation, bettering your financial situation, and then a couple of years from there, being able to turn that first home into a rental property, and pull the equity out and buy something else. It doesn't have to be that complicated. I have clients that do this every single day. All they did was just buy their first house. Now today they got $100,000 plus equity. They're pulling that out, and now they're able to invest because they're more educated. They've changed their financial circumstances, and they're in a different space. So sometimes it's just buy the first house and not think that you're waiting for something detrimental to happen. Because when the market did crash in 07, 08, let's also keep in mind what also crashed: jobs.
Absolutely.
Jobs went away as
Yep.
well. So you guys are waiting for the market to crash, for the real estate market to crash. And at that same time, your job could be in jeopardy simply because you're waiting for something like that to happen.
And you won't be able to get financing.
Nope.
100%. And I 1000% agree with everything Kiana just said, but I don't think you guys really understand what you're asking for. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to see a market crash. You don't want 08, 09, 2010 to come back around. Trust me, I was in this full time. You don't want that. Real people, like, yo, we're humans. First things first. And when people lose their house, this is a family that lost their house. So you gotta really be mindful of what you guys are praying for. You know what I'm saying? Like, real people got hurt. And we gotta stop being savages at the same time. Yes, there will be opportunities. Yes, we want to pounce on those opportunities, but really think what you're asking for, man. You're asking for families, not people, families.
You're asking for families to be put out
Yes.
Spousal abuse goes up.
Yes.
Domestic violence goes up like crazy. Suicide rates
Yes.
go up. Murders go up. Like, I know you guys are looking at it from the lens of a good deal, but there's a lot of blood on your hands when
Yes.
these crashes happen as well. It's not fun. It's
No.
not fun. So please be and last year, like if you were scared to buy stocks last year in March and April, you for damn sure won't be ready to buy a house in a crash. And
No.
unless you're bringing all cash to the table,
Yeah.
then they're not going to clear those deals.
I agree.
Yeah, that was a terrible time. You know,
Yeah, lending guidelines were
I moved
crazy.
to Atlanta by myself in 06. No family, no friends, nothing. 07, I got my real estate license. 08, 09, I was like, oh my God, it was tough.
And gas was high as hell.
Gas was high.
I was on
Everything was high.
400 like dear baby Jesus of Nazareth.
Well,
Please,
hell, shit.
Dad.
Atlanta gas right now looking like 09. Like
Baby,
that joint was damn near $5 to fill up.
I'm scared to leave the house.
Yeah, the gas prices.
Carrie Ann, we thank you for your question. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie Ann.
Thank you. Thank you, Carrie Ann.